Welcome back everyone to Farm Manager 2018. So where we left off in our last video is we're down here working hard to get all of our greenhouses up and running. And as I take a look through these, I can already tell I am going to most likely be pressing this button and putting in an irrigation system, as I can see our moisture dropping on the plants that we just got done growing. Also, I want to point out that you can see that the amount of days left before our next harvest is back up there. There was a bug introduced in one of the updates recently that actually took that out of the display, but it's back now. So that's where it had been from release, and then a short hiatus, but it is indeed back now. All right, so we've got, let's see, we need to do actually... I'll tell you what, hold off on that. I am probably about to hit, we've got plenty of money. We got $182,000. And while if we zoom out, we don't have all that much stuff yet. Granted, as I mentioned last time, my layout is let's say severely lacking, to put it nicely. So we don't have all that much stuff that is actually working for us, but the stuff that we do have is working great and producing quite a bit of income. And that's the main thing. So we've got our first two that are growing, actually first three that are growing. So we are actually ready. Yes, we're plowed here. So it's time to fertilize. So let's go ahead. Oops, actually let's keep this one pinned and off to the side so we can keep an eye on its progress there. And then we're going to come in here, do the same thing. Yeah, there we go. And then after that, we'll get to work on our second row. So this will give us 10 greenhouses, and I will probably want to extend that to a final group and end up with 15 greenhouses. We should definitely be able to handle that with two groups of 3. And as a matter of fact, let's just go ahead and let's put that money into it. While we've got it to spend, that'll just be one less thing we'll have to worry about. Let's go ahead and do that with these as well. So our first 5, we've spent some money, and granted, we could continually have our workers come in and make sure that the water is where it needs to be, but, you know, just not all that important right now. In fact, I am much happier if we can just have these things done at a reasonable rate. Okay, so while we're working on this, you can see progress is going along quite well. Actually, I want to add in some more animals over here. So let's take a look and see what we've got. Let's go ahead and expand. So we've got one cow shed, and if you can see, we definitely have room to put another one in there, and I may end up doing just that. But if we look, you can see we've got pigsties as well as a small shed that can use either sheep or goats. So I think that's where I want to go with this, if possible. Do we have enough room to fit 2 of these? We do not. Okay, so we're not going to be able to do that. And because of my wonderful planning, we're not going to be able to do it over there either. So I'll tell you what, let's go with a cow shed right here, just because of space issues. And this is a small cow shed, if you can believe that. Wait till we find out how big the larger ones are. Okay, there we go. So we'll put that one down right there. The good news for us at this point is that, all right, there we go. So we are ready to fertilize with this. So we'll grab the manure and move forward. Same thing over here. So the good news for us on placing down that second cow barn is we already have the infrastructure in place. We've got the manure storage already there. We're already making silage. You can see we have a ton of it right now. There have been updates to the silage which help out quite a bit with the transportation of the silage from here within the storage in the silage itself, or the silage area itself, and getting it over to the barn. So that part has been helped out quite a bit. Let's go ahead and work through, again, we'll keep with the dirt road since that's what we started with. And then later on we'll do something with that. But you can see, I mean, I'm leaving space all over the place. that is unused, and I am not at all thrilled about that, but it's my own fault. We'll just move on with it. All right, now is where we can get back to our shed. Okay, we can actually get, let's see, I want to go here, and let's leave a little space there and put down a second shed. Okay, so we've got our fertilizing is almost done there as well. And before we get into that, I want to slow things down a little bit because we need to hire some people. Okay, we're full up on housing over here. So what I'm going to do is come back in and get another house for permanent employees. So let's see, can I fit that? Oh, seriously, we can't fit that in there? How about that? Boy, I really did a great job on this. So this is really good. All right, so I'm actually going to just put this down right here nearby. I want it to be nearby, so as these workers get done for the day, I want them to have a very short walk back over. Okay, so these are going to be strawberries as well. How many do we need? We need 177. Okay. So let's go and let's purchase those. And let's see. Let's go with about, let's just go 400 there. We can always sell back the remainder once we are done. Okay, let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit so we can get our housing up and going, as well as our cow shed. And then here comes our delivery of those. Let's see, did we get, nope, they're still in delivery. So we don't have our seedlings yet. Yep, there we go. Now we've got them. So let's choose our seedlings, our workers. There we go. And then if I can remember, we will actually come in afterwards and we will sell the rest of those seedlings back and get a little bit of our money back. All right, so we now need to hire 3 workers. And these need to be, as we've talked about in the past, my preference would be to also have the strength out here next to it, but I'm not going to waste a whole bunch of time looking for precisely that, because we could spend all day long trying to find that very thing and we may not ever find it. I would prefer just simply to keep things moving and take what we could get. Yeah, that strength there, would love to have that, but the most important thing is always going to be to make sure we get the animal strength that we need, the animal input. So there we go. That's plenty good enough. The price is pretty good there as well. All right, so we've got the 3 that we need. Let's go ahead and actually max them out while we're here. And that'll be one step that we'll have out of the way. There we go. Animals. Again, I'm going to go ahead and buy all 6 instead of dealing with the animal husbandry. We'll get into that in a little bit, particularly when we get into pigs. But for now, I am not going to deal with that because it can get a little bit tricky, particularly if you're playing on fast forward, as we spend most of our time doing. It can almost become like a clicker game, and I don't necessarily prefer that. So let's go ahead with our goats, and let's just go all the way to 15. And yes, it does take a little bit more money to do it this way, but we're going to be fine. We are not going to have any long-term issues. With the goats, we will get the goat's milk, and of course the cows, we get the milk there as well. Let's see. Oh, actually, that's my bad. we'll have to, I may just put down another one actually, because I had intended to put sheep here. And the way you do that is you actually have to swap it out up here at the picture. And I simply bought all of these before I actually got that done. So as a matter of fact, we'll just call it a happy accident. And we'll go ahead and put up another shed. Oh, are we not going to be able to do it because of my wonderful placement? Yep, it's the wonderful placement of these wind turbines in the back. Okay, once again, my wonderful placement. And unfortunately, I don't have any way of moving these to the best of my knowledge. And I don't want to get rid of them because they do make quite a nice income. All right, so we're almost done with our planting. Again, the location of these, what I should have done is put them down here and gotten them out of the way if I decided to use them at all. Okay, so our planting is almost done. Let's take a quick look. Okay, 17 days left and everything is perfect. Quality of the crop is awesome. Now we're done with these two. Everything looks great. Okay, now let's go ahead and get started with the next group. And again, we're going to pin these and keep them open to the side. So the developers have been very active. We've actually had 2 patches so far that have taken care of some bugs with things like silage, also some font issues, some bug fixes with some vehicles getting stuck on the map, workers getting stuck, that kind of thing. And so there's been a lot going on, and I know there's been some balancing issues, which is why I am not spending a lot of time worrying about the profitability of what we are planting in the greenhouses or which animals we are choosing to go with. I am choosing all of this based solely on fun, the fun factor, and the fact that I want to experience doing all of this type of thing and just for the fun of it. While I'm thinking about it, let's go ahead and put those irrigation systems in. Because who knows, if you figure out a strategy that is making you a ton of money right now, that's great, but just understand that a patch might come out, you know, in a few hours or a few days that will destroy that strategy. So for that reason, I am not going to worry a whole lot about it. All right, looks like we need some water over here. Let's go ahead and fill that up. We got a couple of workers sitting by just for that purpose. In fact, we might need to go ahead and do the same thing on our other field. Okay, so the plowing is now done there. Let's go ahead and get started with the cultivating. All right, get the cultivating started there. Okay, now these guys are having to go quite a ways down here to the warehouse. Let's see if we have any. Yes, we have goat's milk in there so far. And that leads me to, we need to come back over and set that up on the auto trade. Okay, there we go. So cow's milk, now we'll have goat's milk, and we'll set that on all of them to be sold. We don't want to maintain any. Okay, there we go. And I'm actually going to, I tell you what. Oh, listen there. We look like we got some rain coming as I hear a thunderstorm. So I'm going to right click on silage right now and remove it for just a moment. And I'm going to add goat's milk. Boy, listen to that thunder coming down. Okay, now I'm going to add silage back at the very end. I'm trying to keep all of our revenue items locked in there together. How about that? I just got done watering and now here comes down the moisture. Let's see if that, yeah. So it actually is adding in. Okay, cultivated. Now we need to fertilize. There we go. Same thing here. Fertilize. So we've got 3 more to work with. All right, we're back up to $98,000 this time. Okay, so while we've got a little bit of money here, let's go ahead. I tell you what, let's do a report and just see how much money we're getting off of some of these. So we've got production reports, we've got income reports. Let's do for the last month. Okay, of course we know goat's milk is going to be behind because it just got started. Wow, okay, so the honey, you can see, is doing great. I mean, 36,000, almost 37,000 just from the multiflower. And then another 31.5 from the buckwheat, and then 27.6 thousand from the colza honey. And then our wind farm, not bad, $6,000 per. I'm not sure why it shows amount 1. And then we cut down a few trees and got a little bit of money from that. I'm not sure why it only shows that 1. Let's go back to, I tell you what, let's go to our training while I'm thinking about this. And let's see, what do we want to go with? The price of land by 10%, that would be good as we get ready to expand. Machinery, still not going to really worry about that. Reduce bills, let's go ahead and do that by 5%. Okay, we are ready to, almost done fertilizing here. We're done fertilizing over here. So now it's time to get into our second. And you can see we've already got, never mind. We need to get this up and going. All right, let's go ahead and start harvesting here. It shouldn't take very long. I don't remember the strawberries taking very long at all to harvest. And then our third, okay, 11 more days. So we got to, again, this is all stuff that you have to deal with at the very beginning whenever you're putting down the greenhouses. I chose to put down a bunch right from the start, and then I'm trying to work our way through them. But once we get them up and going, it will simply be a matter of collect your harvest and make the profits. There we go, 360 of those harvested. And so now we're going to buy, next we're going to go with red peppers. So we're going to put down red peppers. Actually, I forgot how many red peppers we need. So I'm going to come in here and choose, how many do we need? 68 per. So we're not going to worry about getting that too terribly exact. Red pepper plant. So we'll do 150 and buy those. Also, it reminds me, maybe, if we can. There we go. Do we have any left? Strawberry seedlings. Just go ahead and sell those since we don't need them. They're about to go bad anyway. All right, now you see that the buckwheat is showing that it is ready to harvest. We are not going to be harvesting that. We are simply going to allow it to stay on the field so that we can continue. That should be our red pepper plant. Yep, there they are. We're simply going to allow both the colza and the buckwheat to continue as long as they will, and I believe they're going to make it through until the end of fall, where they will naturally die. And that is perfectly fine with me because they are making us lots of money. These 2 fields, much beyond the money we could actually get by harvesting and making money off of that. Okay, so we got our planting in progress right now. Let's see, I need to come back and let's deal with our strawberries because again, they're going to go bad here in about 8 days. So let's keep track of those. We're not going to worry about these contracts that it keeps giving us over to the side. And let's go ahead and set up our auto trade on the strawberries. Let's see. Wow, look at the price of strawberries. Wow, straight up. Yikes. Okay, there's the strawberry. We're going to put that on the automatic sell. And for right now, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to sell all of these. because I want to make sure that we get them sold before they spoil this first time. And then from here on out, hopefully we'll have plenty of time for those to be sold before they spoil. Things in this game spoil very quickly, so you don't have a lot of time to do anything with them. And my understanding as of now is anyway that even if you build the refrigerated storage, which is, where am I at? There we go. Even if you build this storage, it really doesn't help out with that, even though it's got the cooling as part of it. All right, there we go. So we are perfect there. So we're going to start work on our next group of greenhouses. Okay, planting almost done here as well. We could get this done even quicker if we had some stronger employees. All right, let's go ahead, get our irrigation system, all right, growing there. Now we can move over. All right, so after this round, we will have one more greenhouse to work through. And of course, then we'll be on a steady cycle of simply collecting our produce. All right, training is done. Let's hop back in and see what's next. Okay, this is always a good one, but we'll get to that one a little bit later. Reduce our bills even more. Let's do the cheaper workers. Okay, let's take a quick glance here, and let's see. Let's make sure, I want to make sure that we are actually selling everything on auto trade, and it's not waiting for me. So I'm looking for this auto trade symbol down here at the bottom. As long as I see that, I'm not terribly worried about the price of individual things as it fluctuates. Not really going to worry about that. We've got plenty of manure. Let's actually, okay, we just have it set up on auto trade. Leave us about 50 and it can take the rest. We're not going to make very much on that at all. We have something ready to harvest. Got some strawberries. Let's go ahead and get that harvested. Then we'll get back to work on our greenhouse. But yeah, it is amazing how much money the beekeeping makes. And that's why I am definitely not opposed to using this wonderful area that I have so aptly left unattended. I'm not afraid to use that for just that reason and that purpose. Granted, it doesn't give us anything during the winter, but that's okay. We'll have our greenhouses and our animals for that. Okay, let's get back to work here. I'm falling behind on my assignments. And as you continue to grow your farm, that will become a bigger and bigger issue because you'll have more stuff to do. Okay, you can see there's our buckwheat and our colza are hanging in there. Okay, they're still hanging in there with us. And as long as they're there, in whatever shape they're in, as long as they're still there and alive, then we are looking great. Okay, let's go ahead and look for additional training. Reduce bills by 7%, not bad. Cheaper workers, let's go that route for now. Again, takes only 7 days, so it's not very long at all. We're coming up and nearing the end of summer. You can see we're definitely in the second half of summer now. But things are going great. We're making plenty of money, and we'll have all of our greenhouses in full swing before winter gets here. So we'll have a nice source of income over the winter. And of course, that is in addition to the animals that we already have going. I am seriously contemplating getting rid of these wind turbines up here. And if nothing else, putting some of them down here, or I may just get rid of them altogether. Not because they're a bad idea, because they're certainly not. They bring you money, but they are in the way of what I'm trying to do right now. My poor planning at the beginning is coming back to haunt me right now. Okay. All right, so we're fertilizing on both of these. Let's see, we've got low amount of food. Where is our... Are we out of silage? Yes, we are. I've forgotten to add it back up there. Okay, let's go ahead and remedy that. We'll go ahead and get some grass. And we'll purchase 1,000 of that. You can see it doesn't cost all that much money. Okay, there shouldn't be any in here. Nope, there's none in there, and there's none in storage, so I have fallen behind on purchasing. I believe this is going to be our guy. Yep, there comes our delivery of grass. So then our silage guy will come in and take care of that. And hopefully we can get this food in there before our animals get really sick. Okay, we are about ready to plant once again. So we're going to need some more peppers. So let's go ahead and get, I forgot how many we used this last time. Let's go ahead and get 200. I forgot how many we used. Go ahead and buy that, get it in here. And so we got some plants in there, no grass, and that is because all of it is in here. And now we're producing silage. So as long as our guy will keep up the work, then we should be in good shape. Okay, let's... My animals are sick. That is not surprising. Alright, show me where they're sick. Go ahead and call the vet. They're probably sick because they don't have any food right now. We got to get them some food. All right, let's keep growing. So 68 is the number I was looking for. All right, you can see everything is ready to be done. And these first two greenhouses, this will now be the second time we've harvested them. After that first harvest, it goes much quicker from there on. But I do want to get these planted so we can get them in the cycle. And we should be perfectly fine on the time because, as you can see, the planting does not take all that much time. So let's go ahead. There you go. Now we'll get those taken care of. Looks like our food crisis is averted. Yep, we got some silage flowing in there now. My animals are sick again? Man, I'm not doing these guys any favors at all. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and do 10,000 on the grass. And let's just try to build up some extra food there. Okay, so now we're growing there and there. Let's go ahead and take care of some of these harvests. There we go. And there's a couple of quick ways that I use my greenhouse workers. So we've got 6 workers in here for the greenhouse. I've got an extra 2 up here that I'll use from time to time. Like right now, I'm going to go ahead and put them to use right here in the greenhouses. But what I try to do is once we get all of these planted, and like I said, I'm probably going to do an additional row down here as well. But whenever I get messages like this, that tells me that 3 of my harvesters, one of my crews, is done and they're ready to get back to work. So let's make sure that all of these are growing, and they are. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, the cows. Okay, we must have just gotten some silage in there. They should be fine going forward. And in fact, here in just a moment, I am going to take a look at purchasing some additional types of food for them. as well as for the goats, and then we're going to eventually be able to get back to our sheep, which I didn't get to earlier. Okay, let's see what the cows will eat. Of course, we're feeding them grass and silage for now. Let's see. Crops, wheat, colza, if we did decide to, we'd have a little bit, very little though, of the colza if we actually tried to take care of that one field. So we've got wheat and rye. Let's see what the goats will eat. Apples, crops, pear. Okay, all right, not too terribly bad. As long as we've got silage for them, I will be happy. Okay, let's go ahead and put down some more storage. I'm going to put down actually a silo. And I'm going to use some of this room that we haven't been using before. I'm actually going to put a silo right up here. And we're going to use that for some crops. Oh, looks like we got some more harvesting to do. Let's get these guys on that. Okay, they just got done plowing in our final greenhouse that we're going to have to do this. You can see how quick the progress is once you get these things planted the first time. Then we simply click on them and get our crew to harvest them, and we're done. So they are not bad at all to deal with once you get them seeded that first time. All right, you can see we're coming to the end of summer as our video is running a little bit long now. All right, so we got our silo here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get some wheat in here. I'll tell you what, can I purchase just crops? Yes, I can, because that's something that they will both eat, if I remember correctly. Yes, crops is something they will both eat, as well as, of course, the grass and the silage. So that would be perfect. All right, so let's go ahead. Doesn't look like it's going to be all that expensive. So let's buy 10,000 of that. And that should be really nice. Oh, we got weeds on our field. Let's see. How healthy is our field? Actually, we're fine. I'm just going to leave it. What the weeds will do is they will degrade our crop quality. But we're now heading into fall right now. And somewhere around the middle of fall at the latest, we will no longer be producing honey. Our bees will stop producing honey. So I'm not going to worry about these fields anymore for the remainder of the time in all likelihood. So the fact that we have weeds or bugs or any of that kind of stuff come up on these two fields, simply not going to worry about it. But they are hanging in there for the amount of time we need them to, and that is all I care about. All right, so we've got our crops, which unfortunately are in the barn, but now we need to get something that's actually going to be in the silo. I'm actually going to grab some wheat. Well, there we go. There's our wheat. So I'm going to grab 10,000 there as well. And let's go ahead and buy that. And that'll give us a little bit of additional food to use. And as we continue to expand the animals that we are holding, then we'll make sure that we've got some different foods as well as, so we don't have to just worry about the silage all the time. Let's see. We've got 2,300 silage right now. What do we have to be delivered? Yeah, another over 3,000 there. So we're in good shape. Okay, still fertilizing. And are we going to have, nope, we don't have any red pepper that we are ready to do. Let's go ahead and get those plants. Okay, they'll be good to 1025, so that'll be fine. That's a month from now. Actually, I think 100 should be fine. I forget the exact amount we need, something like 68 maybe. But again, regardless, that is a small sum of money to worry about. Okay, now we're fertilized. Let's see, I have not seen... Nope, I missed it. So apparently we did already get that delivery. I missed the truck coming in. So now our planting will be in place and we'll be ready. Oh, now we got fungus on our field. We're not going to worry about that either. There we go. We got some more crops that need to be taken care of. So now everything is attacking our fields, but they have waited too long. Let's go ahead and move our roads around. And we're going to get ready to plant some additional greenhouses. So we're going to put 5 more out here. Now this is going to be kind of pushing it a little bit, but I'm not terribly worried about it because as you can see, I can hire a couple more. We've already got 2 extra workers up here. I can hire 2 additional workers. We could actually have 3 full sets of workers for these. So long term, I'm not terribly worried about that. But for right now, we need to get some more training going. And then at some point, we'll be ready to buy some more land. And we'll want to do a building upgrade, but that's $400,000. And that will give us access to some other things. Number one, it'll allow us to purchase that land. But then beyond that, it will bump up the auto trade. Instead of twice a month, it'll go every week. And it'll also give us a bigger maximum field size whenever we do finally get into raising some crops, at least outside of the greenhouses. All right, let's go ahead and see what else we got. Might as well go ahead and continue reducing those bills because that never hurts to be spending less money. So we'll keep that training going. Oh, we've got more harvesting that needs to be done. Let's come back in. I want to see in the last month, what are we getting right now from the wind farm? Okay, so 12,296. Yikes, that is not very much at all. We have, what, 5 of those, so not very much. I know they cut back on the profit from these in one of the 2 recent updates, so it looks like they've cut back quite a bit. And let's go back a little farther and see what they've done. So 14,000 there, 30,000 there. Okay, that was actually before the updates. You can see there's been quite a difference, it would appear, in the profit of those. But they still do provide some income on a regular basis. Let's go back to our reports that we were looking at earlier. So let's look at the last month. So we've had strawberries, very nice income, almost 11.5 there. And of course our honey is doing amazingly well. A nice steady stream, not a ton of money that we're getting from the 2 varieties of milk, but it's still there. Same thing. So whenever we get to wintertime, once the honey goes away during the end of fall and throughout winter, and actually probably a little bit into the next spring as well, we'll still have the milk, the wind farms, and of course all of our greenhouses to give us plenty of money. But right now everything is going along quite nicely. Everything is attacking our fields right now, but that is certainly not a problem we're worried about. We have money coming in from all over the place. We're up over 300,000 right now. And again, we're going to want to upgrade our house at some point, but I'm not quite ready to do that yet because that would take away, even if I allow our money to grow to that point, I don't want to take that away going into wintertime, because I want to use the wintertime to really focus on growing, because we've got some things that I want to get started on. Oops, we want to keep this up there. And we're going to put in the irrigation there. And let's go ahead, same thing here. We're going to run our 2 crews through here, and we'll save a couple of people just in case we get in really bad shape and have a lot of work that needs to be done on our existing ones. But I don't estimate that that is going to be an issue. Like you see one pop up there, I don't think that's going to be a problem for it to wait just a little bit. So I think we're going to have to end our video here for now. Again, these videos are very hard to put an end to because I'm having so much fun playing. I just hate to stop. So I do want to let you guys know that I really appreciate all your support for not only this game, but all the games here on the Knee Pit Gaming channel. Thank you so much for all of your support. And stay tuned as we continue our gameplay series of Farm Manager 2018.